Welcome everyone. Um, we'll wait a couple of minutes for people to join. Meanwhile, could you please comment in chat whether you can hear me well and the image is okay? Um, just a couple of minutes. I see people joining our webinar. Welcome everyone. Today we have an international audience, so there might be people from different countries. You might share in comments where are you from, what are your expectations toward this webinar. Just get acquainted while we're waiting for everyone. Okay, well, I think we could start. Welcome everyone again, and thanks for joining our second webinar dedicated to daily Scrum on remote. My name is Alex, and today we're going to talk about conducting daily Scrum online and possible challenges that may arise from conducting it on remote and how to address them in a better way. This webinar is organized by Timba, online collaboration platform, and this webinar is one of several that will be conducted dedicated to different Agile events and the ways of doing them online the best way. We have actually done one already. It was dedicated to conducting online retrospectives, and you might check it out here on the Timba YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about daily Scrum, which is one of the, I guess, the most common Agile event conducted by Scrum teams. This webinar will be not longer than 1 hour, and the recording will be also available on this channel. We will have 10-15 minutes after the presentation to answer your questions, maybe some from the registration forms, or if you have any during the presentation, please comment in chat and we will try to answer the most interesting ones afterwards. Before we begin, let me introduce myself a little bit in details. I work as a project manager and business analyst in IT Band Systems. Here in IT Band, we work both on outsourced projects and our own products, and Teamba is actually one of them. It is an online collaboration tool, and we will use it and its daily Scrum model for demonstrating some of the ideas and techniques for conducting daily Scrum online. Our plan for today will be the following. We will first refresh what we know about daily Scrum, what it is and why it is so important, talk a little bit about online reality we all live in, and maybe some additional challenges that may arise because of it. We will discuss some common challenges and pitfalls of conducting daily Scrum on remote, and I would offer some ideas and techniques how to address them in a better way. In the final part of the presentation, I will offer some practices and ideas how to conduct online daily Scrum in a more effective way, but also in a more fun and engaging way. Because I guess you would agree that engaging when it comes to virtual meetings are one of the most urgent priorities right now when we all work online. But before we get to it, let's talk a little bit about the theory, the what and why questions for daily Scrum. So daily Scrum is an event described in the Scrum Guide. It's a part of the Scrum framework. Its main purpose is to inspect progress toward the sprint goal and adapt the sprint backlog accordingly, considering the progress it has already achieved and the time left in sprint. The daily Scrum is a 15 minutes event. It's a very short one, and it mainly focuses on inspecting the progress and working out an actionable plan for today, what we should do together as a team to get closer to our sprint goal. As you may see, sprint goal is repeated here several times because it is, I guess, one of the most important metrics for daily Scrum. And it's really a good idea to voice and highlight sprint goal every time you guys meet for the daily stand-up. Why? Because all the updates, discussions, and work done should be connected and should get us closer to the sprint goal. Daily Scrum is a very important meeting, we may say so, but why? To answer this question, I have consulted with my fellow colleagues from IT Band and also checked some forums and articles and come up with the whole list of functions and points that are covered by daily Scrum for Scrum teams. There were actually several questions in the registration form asking whether it's okay to conduct daily Scrum only several days a week or maybe cancel the meeting at all. Well, daily Scrum is not a goal, and we conduct them not because it is said so in Scrum Guide. Daily Scrum is an instrument, and it is important for teams because it helps to cover all these points and issues that you can see on the slide. So these points might be considered as checkpoints in the checklist. And when answering the question whether we need daily Scrum and whether it is really important, just make sure all these points are covered by some other activities or, I don't know, other meetings or other reports. And if it is really so, then probably daily Scrum is not that important for you. But usually teams use this very meeting. They meet every day for this short period of time and manage to cover all these points, all the things during this short period of time. So let's talk briefly about these points. So the first one is daily Scrum promotes transparency. So everyone knows what other team members are doing and everyone is on the same page. Daily Scrum improves communication, and it is something that is extremely important right now, especially when we all work online in front of our monitors and don't get a chance to see each other and to communicate with each other in office, for example. Well, it's nice to have a meeting with the whole team to meet and to discuss the most urgent issues and progress every day. Daily Scrum allows to mitigate risks. It actually perfect opportunity to voice problems and blockers as early as possible, thus giving space and time to manage stakeholder expectations, to think about workarounds that might help, and just somehow together as a team overcome the blocker. Daily Scrum allows to check priorities, and it is extremely important that every team member understand what is our priority right now. I would say it actually even more important for product teams like ours, for example. We work on a startup project where priorities might change every day, sometimes even several times a day. And having this daily meeting, daily scrum, when all the team may synchronize and focus, well, today our priority is the following, really helps to be on the same page and to work on something that is really important for us right now. Daily Scrum reminds of sprint goals. I guess no comments are required here. It initiates teamwork because it gives team members an opportunity to help each other with problems and blockers, and it all starts from the daily scrum. During daily scrum, team gets informed of outside changes that might be discussed with stakeholder, for example, but all the team members, especially development team, developers, should be aware of changes and plans for the product, thus making it a little bit easier for them to understand the perspective and maybe help the whole team to avoid change requests in future. Daily Scrum helps to keep focus. And the final one, pretty interesting one, is that Daily Scrum might help to reveal hidden process issues. I will give a short example here. So for example, a team member comes to the Daily Scrum day after day and said the following. Well, I didn't manage to finish my task because I have been taken to another project. Or, sorry, yesterday I had too many meetings, I didn't manage to cover this task. Well, it's okay if it happens sometimes. We all work in a reality of limited resources and sometimes people get distracted. But if it happens again and again, day after day, there is probably a process issue that needs your attention. And it's a great idea to discuss that points on retrospectives, which should also be conducted regularly. Well, we have just discussed what is daily scrum and why it is so important. But as any event in any process, it always has an area for improvements. And there are always challenging points that may arise during this event. So now let's talk a little bit about daily scrum challenges. And this list has also been produced with the help of my fellow colleagues. I have tried to choose some of the most common ones that Scrum team face when they conduct daily Scrum. Well, the first one is keeping the meeting in 15 minutes time box. People not sharing blockers on daily Scrum. Long discussions or irrelevant discussions with just several people involved and everyone waiting for them to finish their talking. Loss of focus and discussing not the progress and the results, but the process of conducting a task, and team members reporting to facilitator, not the team. Well, I guess you faced with some of them or all of these challenges during your work life, and these are something that keep coming and going. So you can say that, well, we fixed this and this will never happen with our team again. No, probably if you have an ideal process right now, with time something will fall apart and you will have to address these issues again. But this is not it. These are only 5 points, but they might happen with teams both on site and conducting daily scrum online. But we all live in a new reality now. We used to live in a reality when we could come to an office, meet with each other, face to face, see each other emotions, discuss some things, and that was nice. But now we live in a new reality when we spend all our working day in front of the monitor, and it actually arises some additional challenges when conducting daily scrum. So what are these challenges? Well, another five of them. First of all, no video on calls, and there was actually a question about this in the registration form. We will discuss it in a minute. Some team members may stay silent. Routine, lack of engagement and team spirit, forgetting, being late to the call, or facilitators that is talking too much. This is personal favorite of mine, like favorite. So we will discuss each point briefly, and I will offer some ideas how to try and work out this issue. And yeah, let's start with the first one, keeping the meeting in 15 minutes time box. Well, it happens with most teams, both conducting daily scrum on-site or online. The first and the best technique here would be the parking lot technique. Anytime there is a long discussion or only several people involved, take this issue and put it into the parking lot so that it could be discussed after the daily scrum is over, and you guys as a team focus on the progress and the sprint goal, which is the purpose of the daily scrum in the beginning. To avoid too long meetings, try to create a situation, a meeting where only one person speaks at a time. To avoid interruptions, it is actually extremely important during online meetings as well. Limit the time for each person to speak, for example, 1 minute or 1.5, and make sure your team size is not too big. The recommended maximum size of the team that would be okay for a 15 minutes daily scrum is 9 people. And if you have a bigger team, it's probably best to split somehow and discuss progress and goals of each team separately. Another interesting idea here is think of shorter questions to avoid long detailed answers. I guess you would see the difference between the question, what did you do yesterday, and what did you accomplish yesterday? If you ask me the first question, I could tell you that I had a coffee, I read my emails, but if you ask about my accomplishments, I would probably tell you about the progress, about the tasks that I have completed. The same thing with my plans, what I plan to do today and what I plan to accomplish today. Different answers, and the second one will probably be shorter. And the last one, the final idea here is to set a clear start and end for your meeting. This is very important because the meeting is very short, and the team should feel that, okay, starting from this point, we start listening, we start contributing, this is the meeting. And when it is ended, everyone can be dismissed. This may be something easy like a catchy phrase, or for the end of the daily scrum, you might use the idea and tell, okay, today guys, our daily scrum lasted 15 minutes. Good job, have a great day. Thus, making these boundaries for the team, which will help to maintain focus, definitely. Moving forward to the next issue, next challenge, and this is misalignment. Discussing things that are not relevant for daily scrum, something off top, or having discussions with just several people involved, while others just wait, spend their time listening, while they might do something useful for the project, for the team. What can be done here? The first one is thinking about a word or emoticon or any gesture to flag such discussions. You might choose a special responsible person that will keep an eye on such cases, and if she or he feels that, well, there is something irrelevant going on here, they will use this word or emoticon to flag the discussion, and this issue will get parked. The rule of two works also really nice here. It might be not a responsible person, but the team as a whole. And if several people, at least two, flag that such talks are not really relevant for the whole team, it's again get parked. Another interesting idea here that daily Scrum is not only about updates, it's, well, there is another angle how to look at it. Some may say that daily Scrum is about sharing success, about sharing progress. It is a very actually satisfying activity to do, to share with your team members something that you have managed to accomplish. And there might be cases where people work on something not directly connected to the sprint goal, but they still want to share it with the team and feel this moment of joy. For such cases, it's better to have a keyword, something like off top, that people, team members, would use to share this important information they believe requires sharing, even considering it's not really connected to the sprint goal. Still, we're giving everyone on this daily Scrum an opportunity to speak and to share. And this keyword is exactly for this purpose. Moving forward to the next point, and this is loss of focus, talking about the process, the details, and not the result of the day or of the task. Well, a great idea here would be to depersonalize the flow of the daily Scrum. Instead of asking, what did you do yesterday? Let's speak about tasks. What tasks were finished yesterday? And what tasks will be finished today and by when? I have highlighted by when here because this is a very nice question to be asked, especially when it comes to long tasks. You know, when there is a 40 hours task and the person comes to the daily Scrum and day by day says, well, I've been working on this task yesterday and I'm planning to work on this task tomorrow, today. This doesn't really give any interesting insights to the team members. And if you ask when and announce the expectation dates when the task is to be completed, it might help the team member, first of all, to make sure, okay, yeah, this deadline is okay for me and I'm on it. Or if not, it may give him an insight, okay, I guess there is a blocker or a problem and they need some team members' help. Also a nice thing to review as soon as possible. Are we going on these deadlines or there are any problems to address? And the next one is reminding the team about sprint goals or current goal of the team and voicing it, even using it when you tell about your plans for today or what you did yesterday. So for example, our sprint goal today, this week is the following. In order to achieve this goal, yesterday I did this, and today I plan to start doing this. You may show the example by using this sprint goal in your update, and thus offer all the other team members to attach their updates to the sprint goal. So shortly saying, after the daily Scrum, the team members should have a very clear understanding what we should do today together as a team and what should be my personal contribution to the work to be done in order to achieve our sprint goal. So again, we attach everything to the sprint goal or to the current goal of the team. Moving forward, several more issues. The first one is people not sharing blockers, and well, it's actually quite understandable that team members might feel embarrassed or uncomfortable to raise problems, but what you could do here is again focus on tasks instead of individuals, so there is no pressure on each team member as a person. We discuss only tasks and how are things going with them. Listen carefully as a facilitator to what your team members saying, and don't forget about the when question, because sometimes it may seem that, well, everything is going okay, but considering the deadline, okay, here I have problems and there are and I need some help. And another idea here is to encourage teamwork. And what is meant here is people should not feel that by voicing some problems, they somehow let the team down. Vice versa, they should understand that as soon the blocker is raised and we have a chance to discuss it and work it out as a team, it's great. And the sooner it is done, the better. And if we hide these blockers and we know about them at the end of the sprint, then this is a problem for the team. So try to promote this idea that sharing, blockers included, are very, very well welcomed in the team. And the final point here would be team members reporting to facilitator, not the team. This might happen if one and the same person keeps facilitating daily scrum and again and again. And it actually happens often when this is someone in the management role, for example, project manager. And this is actually a pitfall that should somehow be worked out. A great idea here would be to share this responsibility of facilitating a daily scrum with the team. So you might use a daily scrum leader week by week and assign it to different people, thus avoiding this pitfall of reporting to someone that has been doing the role of the daily scrum leader for a long time. Another idea here, even not idea, but I guess an advice, let everyone speak about their work only. So when doing online retrospectives, there is a tendency that facilitator or daily scrum leader gives a general update on the project, like we've done this, we plan on doing this, guys, do you have anything to share? And in fact, usually guys don't have anything to share because you have just given the update. That's why let each member share their own progress, even if it is something little. Daily Scrum is about everyone to share something, to share what they're working on and what their progress. Well, we have discussed some pitfalls and challenges that might happen with teams conducting daily Scrum both on-site and online. And a great advantage of doing them online is that you could use an online instrument, to eliminate some of these challenges. So, for example, in Timba, we have a special model for daily Scrum. And for the parking lot technique, we have a notes area. So during the daily scrum, if there is something off top or there is an action point to be covered after the daily scrum, you may note it all in the notes area and then share it with everyone involved. Another idea is to use timer. Yeah, that's simple. It might be used to control the length of the whole event or to make sure that each speaker speaks for a limited period of time, for example, for 1 minute. This makes conducting the daily scrum a little bit easier for the facilitator because some issues that it should control is now covered by the tool. And we are moving forward. We are moving to the challenges and problems that may arise when you conduct daily scrum specifically online. And we'll start with one of the most common ones is no video on calls. We had this very problem at the beginning of the year when we all as a team that used to work on site and see each other every day during daily scrum, we started to meet online, and somehow some team members doesn't feel like turning on their cameras. What could be done here? The first one is, of course, you should promote turning on video cameras by your own example. And it is highly unlikely that your team members will turn their cameras on if you have your on. So be an example and show how great it is when you might see each other's faces and each other emotions. The next thing here would be to notify everyone in advance that you expect everyone to turn their video cameras on. This is actually true for any online meeting, including, of course, daily Scrum. And until it becomes a habit of your team to do dailies with video, it is better to talk about it and to remind everyone about it every time. A great idea offered by one of our teams is to to announce certain days and call them video dailies. So it's a very nice midterm decision before everyone starts using their video cameras on, but promoting it in a limited way. So we as a team decide together that Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be our video dailies. And on these days, everyone should turn their video on. You guys expect it, you guys know it, you took part in the decision-making process, so it is highly likely that they would turn their video cameras on. And after the team get used to it and understand how great it is to conduct dailies with video camera on, it might happen that you don't need the certain days anymore and you will turn your videos every day. Speaking about doing daily Scrum online, I thought it worth mentioning the two main techniques of conducting daily Scrum, both on-site and online. They are presented here on the screen. The first one is round robin. I guess a lot of teams use it for their on-site retrospective daily scrums. So in this technique, each person one by one shares their progress from yesterday and plans for today toward the sprint goal. It is a very nice technique. It makes sure that everyone speaks and shares their progress. And well, it also can be used, of course, online with the use, for example, of this instrument like spinning wheel. The second technique is working the board, and actually using this technique online has become much more easier because you might share your screen, discuss each task one by one, start from those that are the most right to the right, because they are closest to the delivery and will sooner give you value, and then go to the left by discussing tasks that in test, in progress, and planned. Great idea, and you of course might choose any technique that works better for your team, but it would also be great to mix them up and to change. For example, it is actually very useful and very convenient to use the board for the daily Scrum because you guys focus on the tasks and there is no need to depersonalize your questions. You have already depersonalized the flow by using the board. But it also sometimes limits the opportunity for everyone to share and to speak, because of course there are always something that isn't on the board, and if all the talking, all the discussions are attached to the board, this information might get lost. So it is better to mix up. For example, 4 days a week we do the working board and we choose one day in the week, Fridays or Mondays, and we do the round robin and share the progress one by one. Moving forward, there is one more issue that some teams face during daily Scrum online, and it is some team members stay silent. Well, this one, from my point of view, is one of the most urgent issues because there is not much you can do if your team member mute their mic and turn the video camera on. This is more of a process issue, and to avoid this, you should think of options and activities to create voluntary engagement during your meeting. So think about this way. When I get when I get an invitation to some online meeting, I automatically set myself a role. So here I'm going to be a contributor. I will take active part in the discussions. And well, here, this one is probably not that important, and I can be an observer and I can do something in parallel. Well, it is very important that for daily Scrum, every team member, everyone that participates in this meeting is an active contributor. How can you achieve this? Well, first of all, you should make sure that everyone has a chance to speak and that everyone actually uses this chance and share. And the second one, a little bit of process one, you could think of small tasks for team members while conducting daily Scrum. So you see, as a facilitator, usually you're the one who taking the notes and moving the cards on the board and asking questions and spinning the wheel, but it doesn't have to be this way all the time. You might share these responsibilities with other people during daily Scrum, thus making them active contributors. Well, I have a task. For example, I'm the one who's taking notes today. I'm not a facilitator, I'm just taking notes. But I think you would agree with me that having this task would make me listen more actively and contribute to the meeting more actively, even though I'm not the one speaking all the time. So think about this idea. I guess this one is really something that could help. And the next one, which is actually connected to the one we have just discussed, is facilitator that is talking too much. I have said in the beginning that this is my personal favorite because I have had a feeling that during my stand-ups I'm the one who's talking and I'm somehow taking the attention and the words from other people. So what could you do here? The simple answer is that you should try not talking at all. Sometimes facilitators feel that they have to somehow fill these awkward moments of silence when do you guys have any questions and everyone is silent. Well, try to stop yourself here because if you cease to communicate and to glue the conversation, it is most likely that your team members will self-organize the conversation by themselves, and thus you will not have well, that much of a role during daily stand-up, because it's actually about every team member equally, not about facilitator who's leading it. And another idea here is, of course, sharing a facilitator responsibility with teammates. If you're the one who's doing it all the time, of course, you tend to talk more and more because usually you're expected to be the one who does the talking. And if you share this responsibility with every team member, then the team more get used to speaking more, like everyone get used to speaking more. And you, this way, will avoid simple facilitator reporting and providing a general update on the project. And also you will avoid reporting to the facilitator, which has also been an issue we've just discussed several minutes ago. Moving forward, we have another one, which is forgetting being late to the call. And also my personal favorite one, I cannot find a link to Zoom meeting. And if some of these issues like forgetting or problems with Zoom link, they will probably go away when your team gets used to meeting every day at a certain time. Being late to the call may still be an issue. So what you can do here, you can ensure that you have incentives and deterrents for beginning the daily stand-up on time. This is definitely shouldn't be something embarrassing or complicated or tiresome or time-consuming. Something easy, fun, that will cheer up the team as well. For example, the one who's late is to do 5 push-ups online with camera on. Or another interesting idea is to ask the latest comment, give a compliment to the first one that came. It will actually promote coming on time so that to get the compliments, not to give. And also another idea here is to have like small challenges or contests for the week or for the month, and give the honor of being the one that is always on time with some small gift or just this honor, and the one who's being late all the time. Also, it's not only promotes being on time, but it also may work as an icebreaker for your team. And this will actually be very much linked with the next issue, the final one that we are going to discuss. It is the routine that might happen with your online daily scrum, which result in lack of engagement and team spirit. There are a lot of ideas and techniques that might be used to diversify your daily stand-up, and we will just discuss some of them in a moment. But to avoid routine and to crack it somehow, there are some ideas here on the slide. So first of all, change questions for daily scrum. During this webinar, we have already spoke about two variants, the standard one and the one focusing on accomplishments. Think about adding a fourth short question. For example, what did you have for breakfast today? This may be used as an icebreaker and also somehow engage people in the discussion. Make a tradition of starting your daily stand-ups with a funny joke or some customer testimonial, something that will turn people on and make them active listeners, contributors to the daily scrum. And also you might add some dynamics to your stand-up questions, and you, instead of asking what did you do yesterday, you may ask what did you do to change the world yesterday. Again, a kind of small fun thing, but in fact it can really make difference. And going back to the instrument, to the timbre that might add this point of gamification and fun to your daily scrum, the spinning wheel, which helps to announce the next speaker randomly, and might be used actually in the game, and you might choose randomly who is going to spin the wheel today. So something small, but it again can actually make difference for the way your daily scrum is conducted. We are moving to the final part of our presentation, and we will talk about some ideas and best practices to cheer up your dailies and diversify the way you conduct them. So we have some cards here, and what do we have inside? The first one is ask your team members if you feel that the team spirit is low and there is not much energy in your team members. You may ask them what made them so unhappy yesterday and what will make them happy today. Again, try to focus on tasks and accomplishments, and maybe this will add a positive tune to your meeting and to the day afterwards. Another interesting idea is to start your week with something positive, also connected with the project. So it's Monday, beginning of the week. Give one positive thing about the last week, and maybe something that you plan to do this week that will make all the team really happy. Make it as a positive plan and try to stick to it. Another one, I have actually found this question in one of the articles from the support team. So if you were a support ticket, what would you be? This is the actual question they ask each other being a support team. By this example, I want to offer you to go to the essentials of your team. Think about what you like and what are you fond of, maybe movies, superheroes, Avengers, anything. And think about thematic questions that would somehow be connected with the topic you like. This will also add fun to the way you conduct your dailies. Daily alliterations, something again to give a clear end or a clear start to your daily stand-up, and also to add a positive fun vibe to the way you conduct dailies. For example, everyone, have a woohoo Thursday. This way, using different kind of happy, clear adjectives, you again help your team to have this positive tune. Another two interesting ideas is to use as an icebreaker quotes of the day or fun facts. These quotes might be from famous people or from the members of your team, and they should, of course, be somehow connected to the project. With fun facts, the same way. For example, if you work on some complicated project for some, I don't know, maybe, for example, us, we're working right now on a social media project. And it would be interesting to share some fun facts about how social media works for youth, for example. We are, let's be honest, not very young here all. So, fun idea, and it may be a great icebreaker for the team. Another one is, of course, not for the regular use, but sometimes may be very nice. Ask your team members to give the status of another random team member just to make sure they listen to everyone sharing during the previous dailies. Everyone is aware of what's going on in the project and what other team members doing. Very nice idea if you want to make sure that everyone is on the same page with everyone. And the final idea here, we have discussed that for lengthy discussions and irrelevant talks, we might use a sound, we might use a gesture or emoticon. Sound will work really great here as well, and add a fun point to the way you conduct dailies. We are finalizing, and in conclusion, just several thoughts that I would like to share with you guys. The first one is, from my personal point, Stand Up Daily Scrum is a very, very important meeting. Of course, because it focuses on sprint goals and work that is done and to be done. But also, the team and you as a facilitator should consider it as an opportunity to share success and get excited about the project. You are the one who's doing it. As a facilitator, always keep in mind the main purpose of the meeting, voice the sprint goals, and make sure you adopt every day accordingly. Avoid problem solving in daily Scrum. This is definitely something you shouldn't be doing during this meeting. For problem solving, there are meetings afterwards. And again, there is nothing perfect in this world. And in order to keep your daily Scrum effective and interesting for the team, make changes, try new techniques, and work on your team's involvement and engagement in the meeting. That's it. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you found it interesting. Just several more things to share. There is a couple of articles and useful links that would help everyone that is interested in daily Scrum and how to diversify the meeting. They would be shared in the presentation, of course. And before we start discussing questions, I would like to say that there are coming webinars, and these are the topics of the future webinars. So please share in comments whether you're interested or not. Maybe there is something you would like to discuss as well apart from these topics. Also check out Timba, our online collaboration tool. For every listener today there is a 25% promo code, so use it wisely. And also we offer our listeners today to provide their feedback during the QR code that is presented here on the screen. We would really appreciate your thoughts and comments to make our meetings more effective and interesting for you guys. And everyone who share their emails with us in the feedback form, we will send you a very useful cheat sheet dedicated to conducting online retrospectives. So don't miss a chance. Thank you very much. I have a couple of questions from comments. Just a moment, I will check out. Well, there is an interesting question about conducting dailies with remote teams. Well, I guess if you all exist in the same time zone, The best idea here would be to have a call with your video on and trying out these techniques and ideas that we've discussed during this webinar. And if you guys are located in different countries, in different time zones, an interesting idea could be conducting an unsynchronized daily scrum. It is not that conventional, and I wouldn't call it a daily scrum, more of a daily stand-up, but you can do it in a written form in your messenger, for example, or again think about the perfect timing that would work for all team members in different time zones. I hope that was an answer. Another one question here, just a moment. What question every person should answer on daily stand-up? Well, I guess as we have already discussed, the purpose of the daily scrum is to check our progress toward the sprint goal and adopt accordingly, considering the time we have left, the time we have in sprint, and the work we still need to achieve. So the two questions that are absolutely, well, actually the three questions are: what have you accomplished yesterday? So what is your progress for yesterday? What are your plans for today? What do you plan to accomplish? And are there any blockers? The standard, the ideal three questions of the daily scrum. Yep. How to keep team motivated? Well, there might be different techniques that would work for different teams. It is another question: how to keep your team motivated. But I will still pay attention to exercises and techniques to make your daily scrum not only useful, like a boring routine meeting when everyone answers the same questions and kind of doing this automatically. It is better to think how you could engage your team members, what might be interesting for them. And any icebreaker, any idea might work well here. It might be a fun question. It might be some topic that you use for changing your questions. Like if you like superheroes, think about the way how you could ask those three questions, but in a superhero way. So these things that attach to something that we're interested in, they usually motivate people and engage. Okay, another one here. Can we achieve these new ideas within 15 minutes, or the idea is just to make the daily stand-ups short, not how long, but how well? Keeping the meeting 15 minutes long is important. It is one of the parameters of the daily scrum that is set in the scrum guide, and I would definitely try to stick to this time box, because if it gets longer, people usually get less attentive and you might lose their focus. All the ideas that are offered here, they are actually very small, and you definitely shouldn't try them all at the same time. I guess there is something that you liked, so you could try it with your teams, and it's okay if it doesn't work or make your stand-up too long. Then you just don't use this idea anymore and try another technique. Also, important thing here to understand that we are doing this in order to make our daily scrum effective. So if we go back to the beginning and think about the functions and points of the daily scrum, this list, why daily scrum is so important. And if you see that right now in this point your team is doing fine without all the icebreakers and exercises, that's okay, you might not use them. But usually if you do conduct meeting the same way all the time, people would definitely get tired and bored, and then these ideas might help. Well, I guess that would be the last question. Do we stand during the remote daily stand-ups? That's quite a fun question. In fact, let's talk about this. Why people stand up during daily scrum at the beginning? Because usually we feel not that comfortable standing during the long period of time, and that contributes to the active discussion and to contributing and not to making the meeting too long. So I guess it might be fun idea to try standing during your remote online meetings. Why not? Any idea that you think would contribute to fully engaged team worth trying. That's why I think yeah, why not? That might be actually very nice. Yeah, I guess that's it, guys. Thank you very much for your questions and for your attentions. I also, again, tell you about the feedback form that is available here on the screen. We would really appreciate your thoughts and comments. And thanks again. Have a great evening. Bye.